what I like to do is I journal my practice. So I have this this little, well, it's a black book that is actually blue. I keep track. I don't know if you can see that, but I keep track
Yeah.
of my progress. Yeah? So I'll mark a certain passage, like for example here in Prokofiev, yeah, and I'll start out obviously with 60 with a metronome. And in order not to lose track on my progress, I'll write down 60. So the next day I'll start at 60 and go probably to 69. And then the next day, I'm not just going to start out at 84, but I'm going to go back and be like, okay, 69 was what I was comfortably doing the last day. And I'm going to go from 69 to 74, shall we say. Yeah? You can track what you've been doing. When you at some point say, oh, I'm not making any progress, actually, probably you have. Yeah, you just don't. You can look in your book and be like, okay, actually, I've come from 60 to 120 within a week, and that is a lot of progress. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that is actually a helpful thing to do.
I journal off and on. I'm not so disciplined about it, but I do find that it helps relieve some, like, the energy that it takes to store things in the brain can just be put on paper. So then I don't have to work as hard to remember certain things.
Yeah, and what of course, I mean, that's also something one has to measure, because then of course you can get into the habit of making everything into lists, and suddenly you have like 25 lists, and you're like, oh, it's like too much stuff. So
Right. Right.
also, when you play a piece like the Prokofiev or the Dvorak or the Schumann, they seem like mountains you cannot conquer or cannot traverse, because they're just such huge undertakings. But if you break them up into small episodes, it's like, okay, figure 4 to figure 5 is this tempo, okay, and figure 6 to figure 7 is this tempo, and you have sort of your practice strategy for each one of them. Yeah. So you start with little puzzle pieces, and then at some point you put them together. So you go from looking from this angle, you go slightly higher, and you're like, okay, I'm going to do one page together. Yeah. And then after you've successfully done that, you go even higher and you do the whole movement together. Putting pieces together strategically without losing sight that at some point we have to be able to look at it from bird's eye perspective. I find that really important.
Yeah.
Because this ties into what I've been saying in the beginning. If at the moment before you go on stage, you're still like trying to figure out this, you've not done the micro to macro work, and that I think is what needs to be done.
Yeah.
How quick to progress in order to be sort of in the perfect spot to perform, nobody can tell you. Yeah, that's something with trial and error. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I had plenty of error in that direction. Like I thought I was ready, but I wasn't. Or I was ready 2 weeks early, and I was like, what do I do? And my level went down. Time it right, I think is an art in itself.
Yeah, I'm really glad you talked about going from micro to macro in a piece. I don't know if that's something I've really thought about in detail, like enough to be like, okay, I need to be here, but what do I do in the meantime in order to get there? I'm actually working on Prokofiev, and the whole thing is so long. I mean, it's like so long. So, yeah, just thinking about that is really important.
It's also good then to go in steps, like you have a practice period of Prokofiev. I mean, now you have it already ready, but let's say like a year ago, like you practiced it for 2 months, and then you put it away for 3 weeks, and then you restart. But you're not going to restart here, right? So you went until here, and then you go down and let it sit, and then you go to the next step, and then it goes down, and then you go to the next step. I don't think progress goes like this, but I think it goes in waves like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think at some point when you feel like I'm hitting a threshold, then don't put it away immediately. But if that feeling persists for some days, put it away, let it rest, let the brain do its homework, sleep enough, and then unearth it.